Welcome back, horror fans, cinephiles, and Giallo enthusiasts. This is Tanner Leeser, your host for all things Giallo, here on The King in Giallo, and we are doing another unscripted talking head movie review. This is the second Giallo film that I've covered in my Forgotten Giallo Films, episode 24, 1972, part 3, and that is Devil in the Brain. This is directed by Sergio Sollima, written by Suso Cecchi D'Amico, I think. Starring Keir, Dullea, Stefania, Sandrelli. Anyways, so I will be very brief with this one. I won't get too much into it. I will say that I did very much enjoy this one, though. I had some trouble finding it. I had to find it on either a Russian website or an adult website, and so I have acquired this movie and I have uploaded it to YouTube prior to this video, so it is there if you do want to watch it. Enjoy. The plot, as described by Wikipedia, is Oscar Minno returns from working several years overseas and looks up his old flame, Sandra. Sandra is widowed and lives in a childlike mental state on her family's estate, cared for by her overprotective mother, Countess de Blanc. Sandra's son, Ricky, is suspected of having killed his father, Fabrizio, as well as a vagrant trespassing on the estate. Ricky is then sent to a reform school run by nuns. Oscar's doctor friend believes that Ricky is mentally fit and begins to suspect that there is much more to the story. Yep, that is a really, really good description in a nutshell. So what I will say about this movie, like I previously said before, this is really good. This is one of those Giallo films that is not... It's a little bit of an outlier, very much in the same way that a movie like Eye in the Labyrinth or Footprints on the Moon is, where this movie specifically, you are dealing with the aftermath of a murder. So there's no kills going on during it. You are trying to figure out who the killer is, but this murder happened a while ago. It's a really good mystery. It is very well acted. I wish I knew about this movie beforehand, because when I did the How Giallo is Black Christmas in December 2024, I mentioned that John Saxon was in The Girl Who Knew Too Much, but I didn't know that Keir Dullea was in a Giallo as well. He's in Devil in the Brain. Maybe I did mention it. I don't think I did, but music was composed by Ennio Morricone, and this Giallo, for all intents and purposes, I don't understand why it has not been given a proper restoration. The best quality I've been able to find this movie is 480, and it's not great, and it's only been in Italian with English subtitles, but it's really good. So obviously I would recommend checking this movie out. How Giallo is it? Like I said before, it's one of those more little fringe outlier Giallo films that deals more with psychology, and there is a mystery, there are red herrings, and yeah, but you're just not dealing with that active killer, which is fine. Like I say, there's so many different ways to execute a Giallo film. I'll give you just a very, very brief of the plot in my own words. So Oscar shows up, he sees his former fling, Sandra, and he's like calling to her, but she doesn't really know who he is, and the people that are around her are kind of like pushing her away, like don't talk to him type of thing. And he ends up recruiting the help of his friend, who's a doctor, to help him investigate what is going on. He ends up sneaking a few conversations with Sandra through like the gate at the outside of the estate that she's living in, and he realizes that she does not know who he is. She doesn't remember who he is. Something happened, something traumatic happened, and her mentality is kind of fried. I don't know how else to put this. When they had their fling before he left, she was married. So it was kind of like, well, nothing can really happen. And she has a child now, and the child has been blamed for this killing we find out about. The husband was murdered. This is like maybe 30 minutes in. They end up talking to Sandra's mother, the Countess, and she tells them how she heard a gunshot. She came in, there was screaming, Sandra was screaming, and little Ricky was standing there with the gun, kind of pointing it, a little like scared, and she was like, yeah, he did it. He maybe he didn't do it on purpose, but he did it. They've been kind of setting up Ricky as he's this little troublemaker. He's a little liar, and Emilio is Oscar's friend. He looks into this. immediately he can just tell. He's like, the kid is fine. The kid is normal. There's nothing. He's not over. He's not. He's not hiding guilt. It's nothing like what I have seen to suggest that. And so that's kind of the thing moving forward. Is that story that Ricky was the shooter? Is that true? And I won't reveal it. I won't give you spoilers, but I will say initially I'm thinking, okay, it's gotta be either the grandmother, the Countess, is involved and she's trying to cover it up, or maybe Sandra is involved and she's trying to cover for her. But why would she then throw the blame on the kid unless she just doesn't like the kid? So there is some stuff to work with there, and you are kind of thinking, okay, it's got to be one of these. Let's look into it. Okay, so first off, the music is really good. It's Ennio Morricone, and so it super fits the tone. And some of the scenes I really, really liked is about like halfway or so, right before the halfway point, Oscar starts meeting with Sandra, and she doesn't remember him, but they kind of start rekindling a romance, or at least he does. For her, it's kind of new. And it's really sweet. Although there's a part of me that's like, dude, you're kind of acting out of, you're kind of being selfish. I mean, yes, you care about her, and yes, you're trying to solve this, but maybe you should focus on her and focus on that instead of just let me get my old fling back. So that was something that kind of stood out to me a little bit. Like, I mean, I know he kind of means well, but he's not really thinking this through in terms of how he should be navigating this. But there is a really, really great scene that I liked where Sandra takes Oscar into this room she has with all of these paintings, and it's kind of tragic because the paintings are all just like rings. They're all just like circles. And yeah, it's a little creepy, a little sad, like, oh my God, what is wrong with her? And he then takes a quill or a paintbrush and he goes over one of the rings, and then he starts putting little like squiggles around it, and he makes a sun. And then she takes a paintbrush and goes to another circle, and she starts making circles around the circle, and then it makes a flower. And then she makes one of them, she turns it into like a little face, like a little kid's face, and he's kind of frowning. And it's a really sweet scene that together they are creating new art from it. What I want to say about it, I just don't have the words for right now, but it spoke to me in terms of this is kind of what she's become. She used to be this, really good artist, and now it's kind of this. And he's with his love, he's helping to bring out this new joy, this new love, this new beauty. And funny enough, then we do cut to a scene with Ricky at his school, and it's just a bunch of like little boys, and they're all like little criminals. Like you see like a kid like counting money. It looks like he just made a drug deal and he's just counting the money up, and you see some other boys scuffling. I just thought that was a really funny transition from one point to the other. Another standout thing of this movie that I'll say is Emilio was a really good private eye type character, and he's just if I recall, he's just a doctor who's just looking into this, and he ends up kind of getting swept up in how intriguing this is. He was great, and the two guys, Emilio and Oscar, did work really well together. And there's a part where they're looking into this possible vagrant who was murdered and what happened to the body then. And there's a scene where they're going out, and it's very dark. It almost looks black and white, and maybe they find something. That was just a really, really well done scene. And then the other scene I do want to mention is Sandra brings Oscar back to that room with all the paintings, and she's made like love paintings, like pictures of like a naked man and a woman holding each other, or a woman. There's a beautiful one where it's like a looking down of a woman in a bathtub, and you see these like hands grabbing her, but it's not malicious or creepy. It's everything about it is just very love and very sensual. It's really, really cool, really beautiful. So yeah, I won't speak too much on this movie. I will say this though. I had my theories of what was going to be the reveal, and about 20 minutes before the ending, I had an aha, and I kind of figured, what if it's this? And we get to the end, and I was right. I kind of wish that I would have guessed that sooner, but I was like, what was I going to guess that like 30 minutes in? I guess I could have, but yeah. So if you watch the movie, you get to the end, You know what I'm talking about. So I was proud of that. And like the way that was executed was done really well. There's been similar things like that done in some other Giallo movies that I've covered, and it doesn't always land. It's in some cases it feels a little forced, and this case it actually worked. I would say that the acting could have been done a little differently just to not push us into psycho land, crazy land, but it was fine. It was fine. Generally, I did really enjoy this movie, and I look forward to the day that this will be picked up by Arrow or Vinegar Syndrome, but truth be told, I don't know when that will happen. Go ahead and check this one out. Like I said, if there's no issues, it should be available on my channel, and if not, then you have to look for it on a Russian website or on an adult website or internet archives perchance. But yes, I bring it to you so you can watch it. Other than that, have you seen Devil in the Brain? If not, I urge you to check it out. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. What are your thoughts if you have seen the movie? Did you enjoy it? What did it remind you of? Did you think it's overrated? What? Anything, let me know. And that's kind of all I've got to say. Like I said, I will keep this one very, very short. This is Tanner Leeser for The King in Giallo, and if nothing else, I'll see you next time. We got one more.
Ricky, che cosa devo fare io con te?